Welcome, Queen. Did you blindside him? I have been in conversations with guys and I have found myself extremely frustrated trying to express and explain my point of view, my perspective on what I believed a relationship should be and the status and state of the relationship that I had with that particular guy. And sometimes, queens, what we don't realize is that we tend to cause our own frustration. Have you ever been in a situation where you were speaking to a man that you were interested in, that you were dating, and you were trying to get across to him your expectations, your needs, your wants, and maybe even trying to clarify and get clarity from him on how he saw you and what he wanted out of a relationship? If so, it's possible that you blindsided him. And maybe you meant to, and in some cases, maybe you didn't mean to. But my message is never that men are all trifling, men are all dogs, that all men are no good. And so sometimes that means that, queens, we need to do the inner work to reflect, to look at ourselves, to see areas where we need to grow. Now, you may say, well, what exactly is a blind side? When you say, did you blindside him, what exactly does that mean in your opinion? So many of you are familiar with the movie The Blind Side. And as you know, if you watch that movie, it is a football related movie. So when they were hitting one another in that movie in football, sometimes a blind side is just that. You are hitting a person physically, you are physically attacking them, and they are not expecting that. But in other cases, especially in relationships, we blindside people about things that we do that are unexpected. In other words, we give people an unexpected and unpleasant surprise. And so we catch them off guard. We catch them unaware of what we are about to do or say to them. And two ways in which we do that typically in relationships is what I'm going to talk to you about today. So the first way in which we do that is unexpressed expectations. Yes, so unexpressed expectations, meaning you are expecting something, you are anticipating something, you are believing, hoping, wishing, praying that something is going to happen and that this man is going to do what you want him to do. He's going to be able to provide what you need him to provide. And the issue with that is, again, it is unexpressed, meaning he is not aware. And so you say, well, I need more clarity on that. Well, I'm going to do that for you. So let's say you know that you do not want to have any more children. Okay, that's a preference. Whether or not we do or do not want to have children, that's a preference. But we know that people do have preferences. Now, if this man has clearly communicated to you he wants children, and you're just going with the flow to keep him in your life, knowing in the back of your mind, hey, I do not want to have any children or any more children, then if you're staying with him in hopes to change his mind, you're blindsiding this man. When it comes down to needs, there are some things that we need to have. There is no person in this world who does not have needs. We all have needs in a relationship. That's why some relationships we know do not work, because we could not get what we needed from that other person. So let's just say this man has a need of affirmations, but you're not the affirmation type. You do not feel that you should have to affirm him. Well, if he's expressed to you that he needs this and you have no intention, you have no intention whatsoever in trying to give this man affirmations, then eventually you know that their relationship is not going to work. But if you just holding on to it, with the hope, with the expectation that, well, it's going to change or you could change his mind, then you're trying to hit this man with a blind side. Maybe it's habits. Maybe this man has a smoking habit, let's say, and you don't like it. You don't like it. Think about that. His habits. Any habits that he have that you don't like. And in the back of your mind, you saying, when you give me that ring, when I finally get a ring on my hand, the bad habit that you have, in this case I use smoking, so let's just go with that. It's going to have to go. I'm going to tell you that I'm not accepting it and that you have to quit. If that's the way that you're carrying on, you're trying to hit this man with a blindside. Lifestyle. Maybe in his life growing up, he saw in his house that the men didn't do anything within the house. Yeah, they went out, they worked, they came back home. But once they made it back home, maybe they did not help the mom with household duties, cooking, cleaning, helping with homework. You get it. They didn't help. So his expectation is that he's going to go to work. But when he come back home, he's done working. Now, if he's communicated that to you and you're not all right with it, and you just saying he just don't know, down the line I'm going to flip the script on him, you trying to hit that man with a blindside. Unexpressed expectations typically lead to unnecessary frustration. Think about that. Now, the second way that you can hit this man with a blindside, or you could possibly blindside him, is with unnecessary ultimatums. And I know you may be saying, wait a minute now, if I have to give an ultimatum, it was quite necessary. But just go with me for a minute, because sometimes we are giving unnecessary ultimatums. And sometimes the ultimatums that we giving, we shouldn't have even had to give in the first place. So if you are saying to this man, if you don't take out the trash, if you don't do the dishes, if you don't help me with these kids, if you don't stop spending so much time with your friends, if you don't change your friends, if you don't help me in this kitchen with these dishes, and here's a big one. If you don't marry me, well, unnecessary ultimatums. And you say, well, I don't see how that's unnecessary because, hey, I want a commitment. Well, here's the thing. An unnecessary ultimatum is needless. That's right, needless. Stay with me now. Listen closely. It's a needless demand that destroys building trust, respect, and partnership. So, ladies, queens, hear me. Listen closely. We don't date to marry. We date to see if this man is a good fit to marry. Because if he's not, if his mindset, his attitude, his lifestyle does not align with ours, with what we expect, with what we need, with what we want in a relationship, in a partnership, in a marriage, then there is a necessary ending that needs to take place. And that means that we need to be the one to say goodbye. And that doesn't require an ultimatum. So, if you want to blindside a man, take the time to consider if you want to lose that man. And more importantly, if you should have ever been with that man from the start. As always, I'm Coach Sam telling you, 24 hours doesn't seem long, but in 24 hours, you could change your life. So go ahead and do something life-changing now.